I love my car that I got from Payne Chevrolet. When they first see it, it's something clean. You know, they get to have fun in.
We actually went in with our baby when he was 2 weeks old. They were absolutely happy to answer any questions that I had.
Right now at Payne Chevrolet, get up to 20% off on select Chevys.
The negotiating process was painless.
Payne Chevrolet in Springfield. 9 decades, 3 generations, 1 tradition.
I got what I asked for at Payne Chevrolet. That's the honest truth.
Robertson County, I'm here with someone very special. You're going to know immediately who it is the minute I let him say something. We're not going to let you see who it is because I think you're going to recognize the sound of him the minute you hear him.
The bird with the word.
That's right. This is Stephen Good, and Stephen Good has done a very special character for Channel 4 for
about 24 years.
24 years. And that has come to an end. And he's come by to share some of his experiences doing that well-loved character for so long. And so we want to thank you for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
One thing I've always wanted to know is, what do you really look like under all that? So we're going to assume everyone has that same curiosity. I'm sure you probably get that all the time. What do you really look like? So without further ado, in a secret, clandestine location, we are going to reveal exactly what you look like. So Robertson County, I bring you Stephen Good.
Dun, 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 dun.
And there he is. So Stephen Good, it's an honor to meet you. Let me shake your hand officially here.
Thanks very much for inviting me and being interested.
I'm very interested. I've always been a fan. I don't know why. It's the kid in me, I guess. I don't know, you see you go by and I hear your voice, and we've done interviews together.
We have crossed paths at parades and Christmas parades, the fair parade, which I'm sorry I won't be here Monday night for that. I've enjoyed doing it a lot. I was just here a few weeks ago for the mayor's kickoff, the back to school bash.
Oh yeah.
I was just here last month for that.
I saw a picture, yes, that's right.
I always enjoyed coming to Robertson County, getting in the Springfield area. Lots of nice folks here, lots of fans.
You know what, as I watched you over the years, one thing is certain, you're very good with the kids, and everyone seems to really like you. But I always wondered, you know, because a lot of times I'm filming you, it's 100 degrees out there.
That is true.
And it's got to be, what, 140 degrees in that suit. How did you keep from passing out?
I just took more frequent breaks. A lot of people ask me, that's probably the #1 question over the 24 years I did this character. When I was out in public, are you hot? Are you? I bet you're hot. I bet you, yes. Yes.
Well, how do you take a break in the middle of a 45-minute parade, though?
I couldn't take as many as I would like. As soon as we got to the end of the parade, I would find somewhere to cool off. There's an office, you know, down there by the fair office that I could get into and relax and drink some water and rehydrate. But that is, especially in summer events, the #1 concern for outdoor events. You don't want to have a heat stroke. You don't want to make yourself sick. And if you have the schedule like I did, where you did maybe 25 events a month over the, every month over the course of a year, you couldn't have a lot of downtime because you had to be ready to do something else tomorrow. So Christmas parades were my favorite because, if it's 35 degrees, I'm comfortable. Everyone else is uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable, but I don't want to paint it as an awful experience. I loved every day I did it.
Did you actually wear out a suit?
I got a new suit every 5 years, actually. Every 5 years, we would order another one. They're all made to my measurements. I'm sure you've seen costume characters out in public before. It was built for someone who's 6 foot tall, and they didn't find anyone 6 foot tall that day, and so from about the knees down, it looks like one of those Shar-Pei dog breeds. It's all wrinkly and everything because, it doesn't fit. So the great thing about Snowbird is that I'm the only one that played him for all that time. And the costume was made to me, my specs. And so every time you saw the bird on air or in public, you got the same experience. He talked on TV. He talks when you see him at the park. He sounds the same. He looks the same. He behaves the same. He moves the same. And I think that consistency of presentation contributed to the longevity of the character. 30-something years on the air for Snowbird, that's a good
24 years for you.
And 24 for me is quite an accomplishment.
What was your favorite part of the job?
Schools, visiting schools. I did elementary schools.
I've been to the schools the same time you are. They jump out of their skin for you.
It's pandemonium.
It makes us all feel very small. It's like you're a John Wayne coming in.
One of our former meteorologists, Tim Ross, described it because he invited me to accompany him to a school, and he described it as Elvis Presley walking into the room. It just sucks all the oxygen because he was in front just telling him about meteorology, and then, hey, I brought a friend with me, and everything just rotated to that side of the room, and Tim just disappeared into the corner and was never seen again, basically. I would get that a lot sometimes, that trying to do an appearance with me, it was hard to share the focus because, 5-year-olds, they can look at an adult talking to them for 5 minutes and go, yeah, that's nice. Oh, look, it's a penguin and he's doing funny things. It's hard to compete.
But they all
with
know
that.
your name, though. They all know the name.
Yes.
Snowbird.
Well, yeah, in most cases, sure. I mean, the character's been on the air for, the puppet launched in 1983. So that's 34 years ago. So people that were parents at that time are now grandparents. People that were kids in school like I was a freshman in high school when the puppet launched. Those people have grown up, are now parents, they have kids of their own, so you have 3 and maybe 4 generations of fans in this area.
It's been a great marketing tool for Channel 4.
Tremendous.
They're continuing to do it, but there may be some changing of things, but it was a success.
Tremendous success. I think any station here or anywhere else would be lucky to have something. A terrific ambassador for the brand.
How often does it have? How many other mascots are there like that? I can't...
Well, not that many. Not that many. I think it was a unique
Whose idea was it? Do you know who was it?
Well, I tell you, in the late 70s, as I understand the history of this, and this predates me as well, in the late 70s, when I was in elementary school, Snowbird existed. The Snowbird Report existed, but it was just like a graphic on the wall. It was just, a piece of cardboard and a little drawing, and maybe it had a piece of fishing line on the bottom of the beak, and you pull the string and go, no school, no school.
Right.
And so a couple of guys from Trevecca College who were into puppets and silly business like that went to Channel 4. And they said, we like that, and we think there's potential with that. We'd like to take that thing you have on the wall there and make him a 3-dimensional character, something that can talk and interact. He can be silly with Bill Hall. We can make commercials. We can send him out in public and promote the station. And they ran with it. And in fall of '83 is when the first Snowbird spots with the puppet character where he was talking and interacting. That's the first time that happened.
Now, this is a scary number that you told me. How many events would you do in a year?
I was averaging, in the busiest years, about 300 public events a year, which is a staggering amount, and that breaks down to about 25 a month. And people who knew what I did for a living were found out and said, wow, I guess you have a teacher schedule. You must lay off June, July, and August and only visit during school hour, during the school year. And I didn't. I was as busy in June as I was in January, believe it or not. So in summer months, I would visit public libraries. Your library here in Springfield and branches all over Middle Tennessee have summer reading programs. And they bring in guest readers to present, a program. And so in June through mid-July, I would do 36 libraries in 6 weeks. That's 5 or 6 a week right there. And then once mid-July hits, it's county fair season. I would visit most of the county fairs in our viewing area for one night for a couple of hours near the main gate to meet and greet, take pictures, shake hands. That's July, August, September. School's back in session. I would make between 150 and 200 elementary school, public and private, preschools, daycares, Head Start programs, those kind of things. Christmas time was for parades, including yours. You guys were always the first out of the gate. The weekend before Thanksgiving,
that's right,
which was great. And between then and mid-December, I would do anywhere from 12 to 16 parades in about a 3-week period. So there were some Saturdays where I had like 3 or 4 a day, where I was at one, the next, the next, the next. I would run from town to town. So that was a logistical puzzle to solve many times. And charity walks and runs, so many great charity organizations, the March of Dimes, MS Society, Diabetes Walk. My anonymity until now was great too. People were thrilled when they did ask, what do you do for a living? And I told them they could not stop themselves. I grew up with you. I watched you when I was a kid.
It sounds like they love the character.
They absolutely love the character. Generations of people. I was just at the Cheatham County Fair this past week, and people would come through the gate and see me, and the kids are tugging on the parents. Mommy, Mommy, he came to our school last year and read books about penguins. Oh, he was so funny. Or, Daddy, you took us to see him at the library this summer. And then they run over and they want to hug.
24 years, yeah, you've got generations.
Absolutely, absolutely. People that grew up on me and want their kids and their grandkids to know who Snowbird is and like him as much as they did.
This was a major part of your life.
It absolutely was. You can't do this many gigs for this many years and not know teachers, principals, public librarians, policemen, firefighters who gave me rides in parades, Chamber of Commerce people, people that run the county fair boards.
How many of them got to see the real you?
Well, you know,
how
if
careful were you?
I were, you know, changing in an office or somewhere off the beaten path, then yeah, they knew who I was. They talked to me. I would check in. Hey,
So
I'm
there
here,
are very
and-
few people who got
well,
to
yeah,
see
I
the
mean,
real.
you know, teachers know who I was, but they weren't trying to spill the beans, and
Sure,
you know,
sure.
you're not trying to ruin it for anyone. So I didn't advertise what I did, but
This must be very awkward for you.
it's awkward in a way that I kind of thought it would be, and I never was seeking it out. If I wasn't in the position I feel I'm in now, I wouldn't do this. I'm speaking out just
I want to
because
thank you again for coming by.
I appreciate
I realize this is kind of an emotional thing for you. You're saying
It
goodbye to
is.
something you did for so long.
It is.
Do you have any idea what you're going to do?
I'd go back in a heartbeat. I don't know if you watch a lot of the social media explosion that's happened in the last few days, but I've been...
A lot of people are missing you there.
It's been so gratifying to hear from so many people from all over Middle Tennessee who have watched me for a few years or have watched me for decades, who watched me when they were kids and are adults now, and have said, thank you for coming to our school and reading to my children. Thank you for being in our parade. Thank you for coming and helping us raise money for this charity event. Thank you for representing the station as well as you did. Thank you for making my kid laugh. And here, you know, and I would get thanked at every event I did. I'm packing up, I'm signing out in the front office
Sure.
at the school, and thanks for having me, and send me the pictures from the day. And they thank me, but the wave of it is overwhelming. To see it kind of quantified in this huge
Sure.
amount is amazing. And it's from a lot of different people, from a lot of different walks of life, and a lot of different places, rural, suburban, downtown in the city. And it puts it in perspective for me. I would keep doing this, and anyone that ever asked me, how long can you do this? I mean, they saw what I did and saw that it was a hot, sweaty, and physically demanding job,
Sure.
and mentally too, because when you're doing something like that, and a lot of what you're doing is how you doing, talking to people. You're not mute like so many mascots.
Oh, no,
are.
you
You're
were
talking.
definitely very
They're
engaging.
asking you
Yeah, no.
questions. You're responding
Yeah, sure.
to them. You have
No.
to be there, present in the moment. And that takes physical and mental energy, and people that saw what it took to do it would say, how long can you do this? How long do you want to do this? And my answer was always, I want to keep doing it until I'm too arthritic to work the zipper, until I really can't dress myself anymore.
You just loved it.
It's the greatest gig in the world. I know and I've said this on some of the posts that I've had recently on my own Facebook page. You know, my TV holy trinity was Jim Henson, who created the Muppets, of course, Fred Rogers, who created Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and Bob Keeshan, who created Captain Kangaroo. And these are people that understood the power of television and harnessed it in a really positive way for kids especially.
Sure.
Kids can zone out and be babysat by all kinds of devices. You know, now it's a whole different thing than it was when we were growing up with TV. But they understood the positive way to use television to talk to kids, to inspire kids, to educate kids, to tell them that they mattered, that what they liked, what they were afraid of, you know, what bothered them, whatever their problems were mattered, and it made childhood a little less frightening for some children. And I thought that was really valuable. I saw what they did in the medium with characters, with puppets, with costumes, whatever it may be. And I thought, you know, if I can just slice a little piece of that off in my little neck of the woods, my little area here, my little small broadcasting area, then that's a good gig. That's a pretty sweet thing to do. That's a great legacy to have. Like I said, I didn't invent the character. I didn't create the character. I inherited the character in the same way that when Jim Henson passed away, other people within
The character's still...
Yeah, and the character, the station intends to continue sending the character out to...
Not 300
Yes,
a year.
and certainly not. They have eliminated that position.
Right.
They do not intend to have that permanency. They will, as my understand it, send the character out when they want to do so, when they think they should, but it'll be a
Snowbird, in fact, went to an event recently.
There
right?
was an
At least the
appearance.
outfit went, right?
There was an appearance at Adventure Science Center today, I believe, for a couple of hours.
How'd that make you feel?
Sad. It made me sad
Yeah.
because, I mean, the upheaval for my life is real. The upheaval for my family's life is real.
Sure.
So I'm sad personally, but I feel bad for the legacy of the character because I think the consistency is valuable to the character. I think the reason the characters lasted this long is it wasn't kind of a catch as catch can, hodgepodge kind of who's going to draw the short straw today? Oh, you get to wear it kind of thing. You know,
Right.
I think kids are smart. I never talked down to kids. I never made fun of kids. I want them to feel smart and included and you know, cared for. And I never wanted them to think that you could do something halfway and it would be fine. They're 5. They won't notice. What do we care? They're kindergartners. Because kids are smart, and you want to respect their intelligence. I think they can sniff that kind of stuff out. You know, there are plenty of pictures of people meeting mascots where they meet maybe, let's say, the Chick-fil-A cow. I'm not picking on Chick-fil-A, and he's this tall, and you put your arm around him. You meet him 6 months later at another event, and he's this tall, and you put your arm around him. You know, it's still the same cow supposedly, but clearly it's not.
Do you have a message for the kids?
Kids, I hope you keep reading. I hope you keep studying. I hope you do well in school. I hope you make your life whatever you want it to be. And thanks for hugging me and taking pictures with me and being kind. Thank you.
Let's just wrap up here with your departure. When was it? When did you find
I
it?
got the news Thursday.
Thursday. So up until Thursday, you had no idea everything was fine?
It was a complete surprise to me, as well to the other people that got the sad news and were let go. It's not, don't just give me sympathy, because a lot of people are hurting and confused and kind of their lives are upended right now. And I understand the nature of television. You know, that happens. You know, there is a lot of turnover in TV. People like Rudy Kalis, 43 years. Dimitri Kaladimos, 34 years, I think now. And 24 for me. We are the exceptions now. We are not just the normal course of things anymore. People that find a community, plant their roots there, and serve the community as best they can for as long as they can are the exception.
And you still have the highest respect for Channel 4.
I do. I'm not mad at Channel 4. I'm not mad at them at all. I'm disappointed in the decision, and I think there are a lot of pieces moving. I think the TV landscape involves a lot of big companies, large corporations who own a lot of stations, and a lot of things they have concerns about. And I think sometimes decisions that are made are several steps away from a good vantage point of what the results of those decisions are. Someone can decide, we don't need to pay for this. We're spending too much on this. This isn't worth paying for whatever reason. And the real frontline effects of it are not known, are not seen, or maybe not even understood. It's a trap lots of people fall into. You can make a decision without having all the facts ahead of time. You don't realize what's going to happen as a result, what the fallout will be.
It's a marketing shift.
Or what people's reaction will be to it. And the last 2 days, people have spoken
tell me about what are people doing to you?
It has been very gratifying. I've spent the last 48 hours reading post after post, public emails, private messages from all over our viewing area, from people who are so sad at the upheaval of the character, and sad for me personally because they understand how much I cared about doing it.
Sure.
And I do. I do care about it. I think it's a valuable thing. I think it's valuable to the community. I think it's valuable to the station. I think I understood the value of it. I'm hearing from so many people that the public understood the value of it. And I think the station will understand the value of it.
Sure. Even they probably already.
Yeah, I think.
And they are continuing the character. They're just doing it in a more minimized way.
They're doing it in a very minimized way. I don't know. I'm not privy to that. I don't know what their plans are. So I wish I did. I wish I could share them with you.
You do this character for 24 years. You come in on Thursday and you're told that that's not what you're going to do anymore, and you've got to leave the building and go out to your car and drive home. Where were you at?
That's pretty much what happened. And I kept asking, what about the 150 events I already have in my book from now through March?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, schools, once August hits, the schools pick up the phone and start emailing. We want to get you on this date, and we want to make sure we get in your schedule before you get booked up. And so part of my brain should have been thinking,
it was hard
what are you
to
going to
stop it all from going.
Yeah, part of my brain should have been self-preservation, thinking, what are you going to do, Stephen? What are you going to do?
Right.
But all I kept thinking was about what's going to happen to this character. I have promised dozens of elementary schools that I will come. I will come during their Scholastic Book Fair week or when they're kicking off Dr. Seuss's birthday
I assume somebody's
celebrations.
reached out to them to let them know that.
Someone has. Someone, if they haven't, they are. That is what I was told, that they would handle that and they would be the one making the calls to say, he's not coming, I'm sorry. He's not going to make it, I'm sorry. But I've heard from some county fair board members who were expecting me yesterday or today or next week. And they said, is it true? Please tell me it's not true. I was just told you weren't coming. And I had to say yes, and I'm really sorry, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the future holds for the character.
Snowbird's going away for you. Define your dream job.
I've been talking about it for 20 minutes. I've been talking about it for 20 years. I've been doing it for 20 years. It's not everyone's dream job. It's most people is not their dream job. I mean, if you saw the backstage climbing out of it and I'm just wilted and soaked and flushed and sweating and I smell terrible, you would think, yeah, sign me up for that. You know, not a lot of people are going to jump in line to do that. But it suited my sensibilities. My brain, for whatever reason, is not wired to look at people's eyes and like my brain, when you talk, tells me to look at your mouth because that's where the words come out.
Right.
And so for whatever reason, eye contact and things like that are not automatic to me. And somehow being in a costume and interacting with people without actually having to always look them in the eye it suited the way my brain works. Probably not everyone, but it helped me. It was the perfect job for me. It was a good combination of doing the same thing every day, but in a different venue with different people, so you weren't sure what they were going to say to you and how you were going to react. And it was the perfect balance of the routine that was comforting plus the excitement of what's going to happen. What are they going to say? Where's the joke? How do I make this kid laugh, kind of thing?
Well, you are available.
I'm more than available.
People can find you on Facebook
I've got a lot of free time.
If anyone wants to present some kind of a job opportunity to you, you are all ears.
I'm enjoying every sandwich at the moment. That's what I'm doing. Warren Zevon, great musician Warren Zevon, on his last interview with David Letterman, he was terminally ill with cancer, and Letterman was really choked up about it, and he said, you know, in your situation, what advice do you have? And he said, enjoy every sandwich. And I thought, well, okay. And I've kind of tucked that away in my head, and I find myself in a situation not of my own making, and certainly not what I wanted. It doesn't seem to be what the people want at this point either, and all I can do is read the kind things people say to me, respond when I can and when I need to, and enjoy every sandwich.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and just from the opportunity I've had to get to know you, I want to thank you very much.
I appreciate you reaching out and asking.
I think you seem to me like a guy that's going to land on his feet. So, you've now just told the world that you are looking for an opportunity. So, let us know where you land.
And I'm not shutting the door. I'm not shutting the door on anything. The public is.
If Channel 4 called you and said, "We've changed our mind,"
I'd be there in a heartbeat. I would absolutely come back. I value this character. I loved what I do. And I can only be magnanimous about it. If they give me the opportunity, yes. Tell me where to be. I'll be there.
All right. I want to again thank you for coming by. It was a pleasure meeting you and seeing what you really look like.
Well,
I've harbored a curiosity for so long.
The bar was set so low, right? And I still did not make it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a face for radio on my best day. I'm so sorry.
Well, thanks for bringing a laugh, and we'll catch up to you and see where you land.
I'm tempted to say stay cool, so I guess I will. Stay cool.
I like to go ha, 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 ha. I like to go he, 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 he. We have a lot of fun, my mouth and me.
I like to go. I like to go. I like to go.
Big City Dining in Springfield. Depot Bar and Grill.